Thanks.
Good evening, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Their names.
I I'm known as Wolf from the tribe of Shank.
Understood, sir. Are you sometimes also listed on government documents as Wolfram Eric Schenk?
Possibly.
All right, sir. So what we're going to do this evening is we are going to talk about your conditions of release, and we're going to talk about future court dates. I'm going to let you know that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. There's a representative from their office seated right next to you. One moment, sir. And in a moment, I'm going to hear from counsel as to release conditions. You were raising your finger, sir. I advise you before you tell me anything, again, because you have the right to remain silent, talk to the attorney seated next to you first.
Your Honor, I would like to inform the court that Mr. Schenk has just indicated that he does not need my services. I think under the ethical rule, the attorney must withdraw when the client lets us know that they no longer want to have us. So I believe Mr. Schenk will go pro per. That is what he has indicated. So if I may be excused briefly, Judge.
You may.
Thank you.
So, sir, what we're going to do right now is I'm going to first listen to the county attorney, and then we'll go forward on release conditions. County attorney, did you have anything you wanted to add to your recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor. First off, just kind of a housekeeping question. When the court inquired as to what this person's name was, he said Wolf of the tribe of Shank, I believe. And then when the court asked whether or not he was listed on government documents, I think it was perhaps or something to that effect. Your Honor, the state would submit that this defendant is exhibiting signs of the sovereign citizen movement. And honestly, I don't think we have an actual identification. If he's going to play rhetorical games, I would say this should count as a failure to appear. And perhaps he'd be willing to identify himself clearly tomorrow if that's needs be. Secondly, the sob-sit behavior points to a huge flight risk. It's recognized by the FBI and other law enforcement agencies as domestic terror group. And next we have the fact that this is trespass 1. He entered somebody's residence and refused to leave after being told. That is the single most egregious form of trespass because that's somebody's home. And in doing so, this individual violated the sanctity of somebody's home and likely stole their sense of security. Next, we have 2 felony convictions out of California, assault with a taser and then stalking most recently in 2021. He's had jail time in the past and has been terminated from probation. And then finally, we don't have a residence here. So, Your Honor, if the defendant is willing to give us his actual full legal name, that's a great step in the right direction. But right now, the state is even more concerned about the flight risk because if he's going to adhere and question the court's authority by playing word games, the state, instead of the $10,000 that it recommended, we'd be looking at $25,000 for the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shank, did you want to be heard on release conditions?
I'm gonna invoke Title 28116.
Okay, sir. So I have reviewed everything. I have heard both sides' arguments. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold you on a $10,000 bond that will be cash or secured. If you post that bond, you will be supervised by pretrial services. You will abide by any conditions or monitoring they want you to do. You will not possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs. You shall possess no firearms or weapons. You shall not have any contact with the alleged victims in this case. You will not go back to the incident location. And your next court date, sir, will be September 3rd, 2024 at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you post your bond, you still need to make sure you make that court date, and that court date may change. So you have to make sure you stay in contact with the courts and with pretrial services. And that's
Judge, was that-
Go ahead.
Was that bond cash or secured? The state would move for the former, not the latter.
I will amend my order and make it a cash only bond. So that will be your next court date, sir, 9/3/2024 at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you don't make that hearing, a warrant could issue for your arrest and proceedings could happen in your absence. That's all for this evening, sir. You are excused.
And Your Honor, before we go off the record on this one, I just wanted to make a brief record that I believe since this is a pre-charge matter, the Sixth Amendment is not implicated, so I think I can still withdraw once he indicates that my services are no longer needed. Just wanted to make that record.
Understood.